Hello there, my fellow peacekeepers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Songs of Syx, episode 18, Guard Patrols and a Dungeon. Alright, we have a lot of excess metal now. Thanks. We can get fancy roads and fortifications, and now all that we need for artillery is 1,000 more research. I don't know if we can eke that out of our current laboratories, but we'll see over time if I need to build another one or not. We're still net positive, I think. Allocated is just shy of 7,000. So let's tool them up. See if that makes the necessary difference. It might not, but we'll see. So, in terms of raid security, obscurity, because we live in the middle of nowhere, is protecting us considerably. But as our military trains up, we're going to have the ability to defend ourselves without just relying upon geographical obscurity. So the geographical obscurity is just we live in like a valley or a fjord of a mountain in the middle of nowhere with very few neighbors. So there's not a lot of people that even care that we exist, and we're not super wealthy, so they leave us alone. So that's what's protecting us for now. But our military force will eventually get trained up, and we'll be able to actually deploy them out. Oh, who died? Died because you were murdered. Oh, that's rough, dude. Yeah, we don't have guards yet in our city because we don't even have enough population to support guard houses. So yeah, that happens. All right. The other thing I'm going to do is the leather tailor. I'm going to change the recipe to makeshift armor. So I need to unlock makeshift armor. I think I'm going to put my meleeers in makeshift armor too. So I will commit to making them actual falcata. Oh, maybe I should do makeshift weapons. Yeah, I'm going to give them warhammers instead. It's just cheaper. So warhammers and makeshift armor. I kind of feel like in the Warhammer universe, I'd be screaming Daka Daka or something like that. All right, makeshift armor's here, because that's going to be cheaper. So let's tell our militaries, hey, guess what? We skimped. Yeah, you're getting warhammers and makeshift armor instead. Hope you don't mind. Okay, so now at the leather tailor, we're going to change the recipe and use the leather to make leather armor. And then in the tailor, actually, we don't need to do it in the tailor. We just put leather armor in this warehouse, which already has it. So now we're making armor for them too. As far as warhammers go, that is a carpenter thing. So I'm going to tell the carpenter to start making warhammers. Because we have a 240 furniture queued up or available. Also, I'm not really using the potter anymore, or the mason, so we're closing that down because I'm like max storage on pottery and masonry. And then to make up the gap of clothing that we have just created, I'm going to add another weaver and add two more fabric tailors, so that we don't run out of regular clothes. Maybe even... And let's do another cotton. Another cotton... Oh! The cotton farm can't be the same size because there's deep water here. So as big as the cotton farm can be. And the reason for this is your army will require clothing. So we need to supply the weaver and the tailor with a bit more to keep them clothed. Basically, I need excess clothing that every citizen Unless I tell the citizens, and I could essentially tell the citizens, you don't get clothes. So I'm going to have my clothes target just be 1. They're happy enough that, like, whatever, they wear loincloths for a year. They get to dominate some dwarves. I think it's worth it. So the clothing target's going to be 1, and I'm ramping up the amount that we weave so that the tailors have enough supply. Will this be a one-time stream, or will we see it return? Time will tell. I'm not sure. It depends on whether the community supports additional content past today or not. So in this warehouse, we're starting to see leather armor. Oh, I don't have warhammers in here. Right, I queued it up to have falcata and iron armor, but no, we don't. We're gonna have warhammers and leather armor. So I'll change that a bit. There we go. So we have warhammers, leather armor, bows. Good. Clothing. Our fighting force is 19% and 8% trained. Respectable, given that it's been like a season or two. And we're almost out of, like, free workers. So let's see where we can trim down our workforce elsewhere. The Auric pasture, that's for 1. The leather tailor probably doesn't need 3 tailors. It's okay. So now I'm just going through this to see what I can do more efficiently. We very quickly in this smithy ran out of tools. Add some extra tool makers. And hire, let's say, 10 more people to work in our town. We have an excess of ore and coal, and I think we can furlough some of those folks. Because now we have a decent stockpile of it. So after the furlough, we're still net positive 1 for ore, and net positive 2 for coal, but it's closer to our supply and demand. It's more balanced, which works out fine. Food delivery people, let's furlough 1 of 2. So we freed up some workforce, and then we hired some additional people in. For the research that we require, I have everything I need for artillery. Oh my. We got it, with all the added efficiencies and cutting back on our armor and weapon budget. We now have the ability to make catapults. Rip, dwarves. You guys are gonna get smoked. With the excess research we have, I'm gonna add... I'm not gonna add anything yet. I'll see if our research goes up a bit more or not. One thing we could do is we could forage the opiates that are on this map tile. There's a little thing of out where the mushrooms are, a little past the mushrooms, is like a field of opiates. I thought there were 2 fields of opiates. Wasn't there a second one? No, maybe I'm imagining it. Maybe it's the opiates. And this is for, like, medicine. I don't know. I don't think we could support much of a hospital with just wild opiates. But I'll tell my odd jobbers to do that if they're free. One major milestone, which might not be bad to hit, is a population 300, and the reason for that is that would allow us to have guard posts to provide internal security, basically a police force, as well as like, you know, a dungeon. So, you want to give me furniture. You know what? No, I'm not taking handouts. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you sometime around midnight, perhaps. But you're not going to like what you see once we get there. So our garrison is like tiny, but you know, hopefully effective. So the last thing that we're going to need is for our army, or two more things, is ration making and brewing. And normally I would do ration making and brewing for, or at least brewing for like the benefit of everyone living in the city, but not this time. So I'm going to make a little ration maker here. It could be pretty small. Here it is. Oh, yeah, an internal storage. And then a very small brewery. Oh, I don't have brewing. Let's unlock that. Ooh, the auxiliary kettle's too large. I'll have to have the brew, the distillery a little bit larger than the other one. Okay, it's already 100% efficient. And this also means that we're going to need to spin up our pottery as well, because the brewery uses pots. I don't need a ton, but like maybe one or two people working in there. So ration making is rations used by the army. I don't want people eating them. It's already disabled as a allowed thing to be eaten by the average citizen. And then in my food stalls, it's already disabled. So I don't need to do that. But if you hadn't done that, now would be the time. So that your Joe Schmo doesn't just eat military rations unless it's in some sort of food emergency. So I'm going to already upgrade my ration maker because I can afford it. And I'll have 2 ration makers in here making rations. And the rations are being stored in this sort of like, I'm going to call this the military warehouse. And then the brewer is almost done. And let's give these tools too. So very small workforce, but working as efficiently as I'm able to have them. And then the brewer uses coal, pottery, grain to brew piva, which is like a beer essentially, and that's going to be used in the warehouse too. So again, tools and maximum brewers of 3. And the brewery can be changed to make shede, which is like wine. It's fruit alcohol or grain alcohol. I'm going to do grain alcohol because that's what's required for a military. So we'll start to see stockpiled piva, rations, warhammers, bows, leather armor. And the last piece of the equation is... and let's hit that population checkpoint of 300 for the first time. Legati. The last piece of this equation is machinery. And that's to make catapults. Timo, thank you for the gifted subs. Cheers, dude. So, I'm going to make a micro mechanic out here. Making machinery. Might need it a little bit bigger so it's more efficient. Okay. Door done. If you're wondering, this is absolutely not how I would do it if I was trying to have a nice and sustainable society. I am just rushing towards the, hey, show me some military goal before the end of stream. So this is a sprint, not the proper marathon that would be proper civilization design. So I just wanted to throw that out there. This isn't how you would do it sustainably. This is how you do it in a rush to show game mechanics for viewers. I'm throwing stuff together. Alright, so here's our mechanic. Mechanics gears are used in a lot more than just catapults. They're used to upgrade everything in the same way that that metal is for the first tier. So the second tier of most industries is researched, called advanced, which needs metal and machinery. So machinery is a incredibly useful. Oh, and the noise here sucks, doesn't it? It doesn't quite permeate the longhouses, so that's fine. Alright, the other thing, I just hit Legati. So I'm going to be ramping up for war and add police force for home. Treats for him and treats for me. I just spilled water all down my shirt. So for law, if we go to law, we have guard posts. And guard posts hires people to police your people. Most of my everything is centered right around here. So if I build like a big guard post there, it should be enough police force for most people living under its jurisdiction. So let's do that. Guard post there. And then we'll do a little post out near the mines. Someone did get murdered here up here kind of recently. So we'll have a micro guard post up there. Guard posts by themselves aren't enough. You need to decide what to do with criminals. The cheapest way is just to exile anyone committing crimes. But in this case, I'm going to imprison everyone and then decide on a case-by-case basis whether they are exiled, pardoned, or worse. So I'm also going to want the ability to execute people in scaffolds. It depends on the crimes they commit. So if I want to be able to make the decision, I need dungeons. So next to the guard post is going to be a holding cell for criminals. I'm going to have it be the smallest possible holding cell. Just a micro dungeon. And that way, when anyone is detained as a result of committing a crime, they'll be put in a cell and then I get to decide what to do with them. And I'm only doing this because we've had a few crimes committed, so I might as well just add this. One of the requirements for the guard posts is leather armor. So the tailor here, I'm going to add a little bit more leather armor making, but I know that I don't have the leather to support it. So I am going to temporarily, to bolster the leather that I need, hunt some aurochs, which is not a safe thing to do. So I think some people are going to get smushed. But, yeah, that's something I'm willing to do. And I just added more people than I have homes, so I'm going to build one more longhouse. I'll plop that longhouse. What's the noise like here? Nope, not putting it there. It's noisy as hell. I'll put this longhouse here. Or somewhere around here. I'll find a good spot in a moment. I had intended originally to have people live up here, but it's a bit too far from like hearths and the like. So maybe noise allowing. Yeah, it's not too noisy. I'll just put it along the already existing longhouse stretch up here. Oh, who died? Mauled. Oh, yeah. I did say that people were going to get mauled as a result of that. And they did. Because Aurochs do not like to be killed for their meat or leather. And they're kind of capable of a lot of violence, so it's no surprise that people were mauled. But that's okay. That's why we have Skull Island. Those who get mauled get a place to call home forever. Or until their graves are overturned to the next occupant. So, a few years. Alright, so now we have homes for everyone. There is one person who's homeless. Where do they live? They are... So I need another house close to this lavatory. So, let's see what we can do for him. Maybe an apartment will fit more nicely? Yeah. I'll put an apartment across the street from the dungeon. If you like to gawk at the people in the dungeon, you get to live here. So now, no homelessness. Perfect. I hired 2 delivery people to go fetch the Auroch leather. So let's take a look at the Auroch herd. There is still some leather and meat out here to be fetched, but those delivery people will get it, given time. I just need to be patient. And that will allow me to temporarily ramp up the amount of leather armor that I make so that we can adorn our guardsmen with armor, because in order to build a guard post, you need 21 armor up front. We also have 2k more research. If we're going to fight, let's also have some basic healthcare. Opium farming and healthcare. Right? We're not just warlike, we take care of our own. Or at least I can pretend to. So I'm going to put a hospital here. Very small, it doesn't need a lot of beds. Not a lot of people get ill. Well, I'd like to have it have at least 1 employee, so maybe it has to be a bit larger. So, the most dangerous place where people get the most injured is right around our guard station and our archery range and melee training. So I'll put the beds up here. Okay. Good. Employees, roughly 1. So, tiny little hospital. Field hospital, if you will. Our own mash tent. And, paired with that is the need for a regular income of opiates. So I'm going to add 1 more farm. I'm just going to throw it... Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I'm just going to throw it together here, where it's relatively fertile and kind of close to where the hospital is, where we grow opiates for medicinal use. So there's a little opiate farm. And I already have the foragers gathering the opiates out here to be able to start. But if my odd jobbers don't do that automatically, I'll make an effort to have them go do that so that we can start the opiate farm. Nope, they already have it delivered. 12 of 19. So yeah, obviously we had opiates on hand. And in the little military warehouse, I will include opiates to be supplied. Just because it's across the street from the hospital, so it makes sense. But it's going to be a little while to supply that. So the reason for that is the hospital regularly consumes opiates and fabric for healthcare. There we go, little healthcare. So we got the dungeon going on here, and we have 2 prisoners. So let's decide. This person vandalized. We are going to pardon them. And this person also vandalized. We will pardon them. Vandals doesn't necessarily require, you know, capital punishment. We'll just let them go. But our guards here working the guard post have already made some arrests. What about the other guard post? Is that built? That's not built quite yet. It needs some more leather armor. But you get the idea. And anytime there's a prisoner here, you know, we can decide what to do with them. Now, having ex-convicts in our society does potentially increase the, you know, there's a bit of a recidivism rate, right? Like, they might reoffend, and we can always change our decision to only in prison with other things, like exiling. So we could also decide to exile one, or to put them in stocks, or to execute them. But I kind of like the case-by-case basis, at least for now, until we have a judge. I will act as judge. Judge, if you're wondering, is another technology that you eventually unlock here for a court, so that there are trials, so that you avoid the innocent being punished. Because just because they're arrested doesn't necessarily mean they're innocent in every case. So you can have false imprisonments. So one of the advantages of having a court system is it kind of absolves you a little bit of this responsibility from executing and banishing and etc. of people that were actually innocent of the crimes that they were accused of. My furniture is running low? Ah, good point. Let's fix that. Carpenter. We have 40 warhammers. We only have 20 people using the warhammers, so let's go back to furniture. And to that end, my wood is running low. So I'm going to fell some trees. And people really want to move in. There's 53 immigrants lined up to move in. We have a population of 312. I'm obviously not going to admit them, but yeah. We are running a society that is attractive. Our Division 0 is 50% melee trained, and our Division 1, which is our archers, is about 25%. I think our bakeries need to increase production for some of the new people added in, but we have a big excess and still net positive of grain. And net positive of fruit per year. So we're doing okay in terms of food production, I think. I could spend a lot of time trying to, like, more carefully fine-tune and balance. I just, you know, in a rush to start a war. How much machine? Oh, I have 15 machinery. Nice. Good, good, good. And one of the reasons why my furniture started plummeting is furniture is used in the production of machinery. So I'm going to add tools to my carpenter too. Oh, there was an accident. There was a mining accident in the ore mine. And 1 is bleeding out, 2 are immediately dead. And the bleeding out one is probably not going to get tended to by the physician, or yeah, he died. Because he was a bit too far from the nearest hospital. If I wanted to be like, you know, if I had more time, I would, oh god, his face is gross. I would, go to the efforts of like putting a field hospital up there as well. I just, you know, I don't have that kind of time to very carefully and perfectly balance the needs of everyone everywhere. It takes a very long time to fully train troops, yes. Yes, it does. And that's with like a guard post that can house all 20 and a archery range that can house 10. The reason the archery range is taking twice as long is I have half the capacity of the training grounds. So that's why the melee are training at about twice the rate as the archers. Because only half the archers can train at a time, whereas, you know, all the meleeers can train. If I really wanted to, I could create another archery range. But that would use up all the bows I have in storage, so I'm not going to. I have about 1,600 research left. I'm going to invest a little bit in logistics to allow the people who are delivery men to carry a bit more. And then research a little bit in spoilage to reduce how much is spoiled per year. And then, last but not least, upgrade our worship sites and our toilets. And a little bit more spoilage. So now that my spoil per year is gonna drop considerably. So like for apples, it's down to 16%, down from I think 25. Grain should be even lower at 8%, down from 12.5. So we're losing even less of our stuff per year that is stored. Our lavatories can be upgraded now, provided I have the materials, as can our temples. So once I have a little bit more furniture, I can upgrade our shrines. I can already upgrade the Athuri shrine. The first. The second one needs jewelry and Sithalon ore. I don't have that. But at least I'll do tier 1. So now we have tier 1 shrines for both types. Or actually, we don't even have tier 1 shrines to Crater. So I really need to work on my my furniture deficit so that we upgrade that. I think I can probably slow down on the machinery. I already have a decent amount of machinery stockpiled for war. So I'm going to reduce the mechanics down to like 2. And that should help with the furniture deficit as well, because the furniture was going towards machinery. We have all the rations that we need, so I'm going to reduce the ration maker down to 1, just to keep up with spoilage. Or actually, I'm going to shut it down for now. That's a lot of rations. One thing that we don't have enough of yet is clothing. The amount of clothing that the people need is, you know, a hard demand to meet, so I'm adding some additional weaving, and I probably honestly don't have the cotton to really supply it, but I'm trying. We're barely in the net positive of clothes. So it wouldn't surprise me that immediately as soon as I set my armies to march, that a whole bunch of them defect as a result of being poorly supplied by like alcohol and clothing. Also, where is my alcohol? Here. There's a delivery person being hired here, because what the hell? I don't have any alcohol that I said to make being supplied yet. Where's it going? Are they just drinking it? It's, I think, an internal storage. Although, looking at one dude laying on the ground, I'm not so sure. You dipping into your own supply? You're not supposed to get high on your own supply, friend. So, let's tell them to stop drinking it. I think that's what's going on, is they're just drinking it. in the food markets, I'm assuming, rather than the taverns. And that was my fault. I shouldn't have it supplied as a, No, it's not in the markets. How are they, where are they getting it? Where are they getting alcohol? How do they obtain it? I forget. But I just told them, no, leave it alone. It's for the military. I'll do the same with Shedda. Why is the rum gone? And why is there a drunk person at the entry of my brewery? Yeah, I caught them. I know what they were up to. Alright, the other thing that I was ready to upgrade, once we have the furniture, we'll do that, but is the lavatories. So, posh relief. I'm out of cut stone, so if I want more lavatory upgrades, I'll have to get some masons. Again. And I'm not making enough tools to actually supply, you know, everywhere that is upgrading in this way. So, population increased a little bit, and more toolsmiths. I do see that we're starting to stockpile clothing. Like, barely, but sorta. So, it has been 33 years since the founding of this city. We're up to about 320 people. And already aspiring to dominate our neighbors, despite the fact that they have a greater population than us, but that's okay. We are more ingenious. Oh, you want to give me stuff? Oh, you're getting scared. Yeah, I see it. No, I'm not taking your gifts. I want you scared. You should be. We're worth being feared. If you were Dondorian, I mean, if you weren't Dondorian, if you were one of us, you know, maybe we would be friendly, but not today. Alright, I'm adding more toolsmithies and hiring out, let's say, 10 more immigrants. That's about the upper... beyond this... Oh, there's already 2 people that are homeless. So, you are homeless... living up here. That's actually really easy to solve because there's just plenty of longhouse potential up this way. So I'll just drop a longhouse here and that should be fine. Although that's going to be loud as hell. It's right next to the woodcutter. Oops. Yeah, sorry. I lied. This isn't where we're building a home. Sorry, odd jobbers, but that was a model home. This is the real one. And it's close enough to services that it's fine. Alright. We have a 75% melee force, a 43% archers. We've got guard posts and guards for both areas. So here's the guard coverage for the northwest mining colony and the guard post for everything else, which doesn't cover everything. I mean, there's some living quarters that it doesn't, but it's good enough. We catch enough criminals. So what did you get caught doing? Caught being a flasher? Definitely pardoned. You ain't much of a looker though, Elena. You might want to use some extra makeup there. You're kind of covered in mud, I think. If that's mud, I'm not sure. I'm not Cretonian. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's feces. Maybe they're a poo flasher. All right. Let's upgrade. I don't have enough cut stone for another lavatory. But I'd like one. Where are my lavatories? Here's one. So let's fast forward time until I have at least 2 nice posh lavatories. Speaking of poo flashers, let's poop in style. There we go. See? Doesn't that look much nicer than the dirt building we had before? Much nicer than this old dump. This one is a slightly smaller lavatory, so we'll be able to upgrade that easier. Food still looks pretty good. We're sitting at about 2 years of food. I have not really touched our food production in quite some time. One way to bolster that a little bit is just to do edible crop optimization, or to specifically, because that costs only 113, 169, and that allows us to not have to immediately jump to, oh my god, we're not doing food. Yeah, and now we have an opiate farm. Good. So yeah, we'll see even higher yields after that research investment I just made. This is the last lavatory is still yet to be done. We almost have the cut stone for it. And then I want to upgrade a few temples. There we go, that's the upgraded lavatory. So upgrade a few of our temples, and then we'll go to war. I haven't forgotten what we're doing all this for. So, here's the Eastern Crater Shrine. And it's nicer. It's hard to tell under the snow, but it does look pretty significantly different versus this one, which is just like a wooden podium. So the two main temples are now done. Sweet. In terms of access, almost everyone has at least one piece of article of clothing. Everyone's housed. I have almost no wood left. I just saw that in time. So after my 8 odd jobbers cut down a few trees, we're going to go to war. Also, my breweries are done. So let's cut back on the brewers. Actually, we could shut it down for now. Thank you for tuning in to Songs of Syx, which originally streamed live on Twitch as a marathon November 23rd. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind I'm not looking for feedback. This episode was cut from a marathon, and the marathon was streamed one time only, so feedback cannot be incorporated. If you would like to join a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. And if you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. A link to my Patreon page can be found there as well, if that interests you. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream of another game. Farewell, my fellow Cretonians.